Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers Kristy.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change your tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive solutions written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, TGIF-worthy podcast. Today is Friday, the 5th of February, 2020. Good morning, Kristy. How are you?
I am good. It's another sunny, cool day here in Santa Barbara. How about you? How are you?
I feel like our check-in when we're like, how are you? It's pretty much always the same. So there was a marketing company, and I'm sure they're still in existence, but in Los Angeles called 72 and Sunny. And because that was just sort of like the fixed weather pattern in Los Angeles. And I feel like sunny and fine is how we are at the Optimist Daily. No, it is likewise pretty down here. It is Friday. I am excited for kind of a nice weekend. I'm going to get a little gardening time. I am going to cut out of work just a smidge early this afternoon and begin to celebrate my birthday weekend by doing not much of anything other than just not working.
That's right. Happy birthday, Summers. Yes.
Thank you. It's the big 4-3 for me. In our pre-call, Kristy and I were chatting a little bit about just the experience of aging. And I have never been shy about my age or particularly concerned about it. But this particular birthday, since I am in the midst of packing and releasing a lot of things from my life, I do feel a sense of olderness, I guess. I'm letting go of all of Brendan's baby clothes. I'm giving them to another mom in my community. I know that my fertility years are likely finished, which is fine. I have 3 amazing kids. I have 1 baby, but I have 3 kids. I don't need any more. But 43 does feel older, not in a bad way, but
it's
just
wiser.
Older.
And and anyway, age is mostly in your mind, although it's also in your body.
Well, I was going to say no. I mean, people say age is in your mind, except for there's certain things that stop happening as a woman ages. So
it's true. And I'm very stiff in the morning when I wake up.
I'm going to just reveal that while Kristy and I are both delighted in our lives and our life place, and we're very happy and wouldn't change it, we both would prefer if we were doing this in a younger body, simply because it'd be really great to just go out for a morning run without having to, ache and pains afterward. So,
yeah, well, it's probably because we didn't live right in the meantime. I'm looking like Tom Brady.
We didn't live right, but man, we lived well.
But we lived well, exactly. That's what it is.
Speaking of living well, the world's pretty good today. There's good stuff happening. There's a lot of great headlines on the Optimist Daily. We've had a very active week on the Optimist Daily. Our article about how to help hummingbirds in the winter and how to help pollinators in the winter got picked up, I think, by Google's homepage news app. And so we had just tens of thousands of people. I think it was up to 25 or 30,000 people looked at it yesterday. So that was kind of fun. Cool. Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of great headlines over the weekend, a good view. But what's on doc today on the Optimist Daily?
Well, I'll use my headline first.
All right.
Because this is the main story, I think, of the day. It's the lead story, but it's about Denver's unarmed 911 response team, which has been going for 6 months. And in that first 6 months, it has arrested no one, even though it has responded to about 750 incidents. And so this is a program which was initiated after the protests last summer that started that were arguing against systemic racism and police brutality. And it was really the spearhead calling for cities to change their policing system or address these things. And one of the reasons that this is really urgent is that so many of the calls that go to 911, police have become sort of the first responders for all kinds of situations, even when there's not a criminal situation, right? And that's not what the police are really trained for or good at. So they're not called to deal with a mental health crisis,
Right.
or somebody who's just breaking down for one reason or other. And it often will lead to unnecessarily violent responses because that's what the police are more trained to do.
Additionally, it's not only what the police are more trained to do, but it's what the inflammatory response to police are from citizens, right?
Absolutely.
So the entire relationship and dialogue between
has been
citizens and police, is one of combativeness. And that is what refund or defund or change the police really is about.
So last September, we wrote about a new alternative that's being set up in Denver called STAR, which stands for Support Team Assistance Response. And the STAR program began June 1st with a team of non-armed social workers who are serving non-dangerous citizens in need. And they are being deployed to help free up police to respond to other kinds of incidents that require more of a police force presence. So a new progress report just came out that details the first 6 months of the STAR team being on active duty. And it showed that even though they had responded to 748 incidents, not a single one required police or led to arrests leading to jail time. So this is considered a success. And it de-escalates the whole relationship between the citizens and the police because these are nonviolent incidents and they're getting solved in ways that don't require bringing people in. So Chief of Police Paul Pazon is excited about this, and his goal is now to fill out the alternative program so that every neighborhood can use the services at all hours. Because right now it's a limited service from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday that are located in high demand neighborhoods. It hasn't really filled out. It was a pilot program, and now they want to expand it throughout the city. And it will cost about $3 million, but they have the funding for it. It's not coming out of the police department budget per se, but it will actually support the police in a more holistic kind of way, funded from a mental health fund from the city of Denver. By transferring these low-level calls to civilian teams, it's not just about relocating money, but it's rather solving two problems, which is getting harmless residents the help they need while letting the police focus on things which require policing and don't really need, just to talk down and de-stress.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like this, and I think that mental health is one of those things that we all really need to pay more attention to for ourselves in our own lives. And when there's a person who's in distress and in crisis, sometimes you really need help and you need professional help. And it's not, guns or handcuffs or pepper spray that you need in those situations, but people who are trained to help de-escalate and calm that person who doesn't have the ability to emotionally regulate themselves in those moments of crisis.
Right.
And so anyway, I like this story a lot.
I like this story. Mental health is something that it's a wide spectrum, right? There's individual sort of low service needs people who have mental health issues, depression, things like that. And, finding and working with a good therapy team is something that's so critical. And then there's higher service needs people who have perhaps a mental illness of some substantial kind. And looking at mental health as that broad spectrum and really approaching it in that there are a lot of different things that are needed in, improving the mental health of our community in general is just such a gift. And I'm really proud of Denver. I'm a hometown Denver girl. I lived there until I was 13. And I just think that this is a lovely story. I love what cities and countries and municipalities are doing to make the world a better place.
Yeah. So we're talking about repairing the police and community relationships. What do you want to talk about today, Summers?
I want to talk about the drawer I have of old cell phones. So I don't know about you, but I quite literally on my desk, I have 1, 2, 3 old laptops. I have a drawer full of 4, maybe 5. Yeah, 5. No, Brennan runs around with one of them. 5 old cell phones. Because I have a very difficult time throwing technology away because I am certain at some point I might need it or I could fix it or it could be used again.
Yeah.
and it has served me well. There have been times where, my current cell phone dropped or was broken and I pulled out that old Samsung S3, right? and was able to sort of send archaic text messages in large puffy font in order to have access to my phones. But what this speaks to, and I think a lot of people have this, is that as our technology becomes obsolete, there's kind of nothing clear to do with it. And it becomes obsolete at such a rapid rate that you just end up with a lot of waste. Well, this solution takes this on. The headline reads, France introduces repairability index to bring circularity to electronics. Basically, France is offering an initial blueprint on how repaired, reusable electronics can be put back into the system. Recently, the French government passed laws that support recycling and repairing goods and introduced what is known as the durability index. The 5 metrics are ease of repairability, price of spare parts, availability of spare parts, availability of repair documentation, and the final measure varies depending on the type of device. Cleo is singing to us. Cleo.
That's Cleo?
Yeah, that's Cleo.
I was listening to that strange noise in the background.
Yep. That's Cleo. She gets happy. She's rolling around in the sun with the cat singing. So anyway, basically an analysis by the European Environmental Bureau found that extending the lifeline of washing machines, notebooks, vacuum cleaners, smartphones in the EU by just 1 year could reduce the carbon dioxide emissions by 4 million tons annually by 2030. So this is not about my Samsung S3 existing in 2021, but instead it's about making sure that you don't have to change out your laptop or your phone or your Chromebook or whatever on a regular basis. And instead, the option that they're offering is they're setting up repair cafes where the cafes are free pop-ups that allow citizens to bring household items in to be repaired so they can avoid throwing them away. So it's creating an opportunity for repair. And then it's also ensuring that the devices and products themselves are marked with an index to indicate how likely they could be repaired. What is the life cycle of it?
The thing that I love about this is it's kind of, when you get like a new television or something, you can see where it goes on the Energy Star. We have the Energy Star rating, right? So you know how much is it going to cost you in terms of your electricity bill to use this device, whether it's a refrigerator or a washing machine or a television or a computer, right? You know the Energy Star rating. Seeing the repairability rating will maybe, or the durability rating or whatever the chart is, it's like, okay, so this one gets a 5, whereas this one gets a 3. So if you get the one that gets a 5, which is a higher rated, it's more durable, it means it can last you a bit longer.
Exactly. It's both increasing repair access and then incentivizing consumer behavior to buy the tool, that it's going to have the lower footprint.
Yeah, and it's like, what is the old business adage? You can't measure, or you can't manage what you don't measure.
Yes.
So measuring this and putting this to the level of being measured helps to encourage that circular economy and supports right to repair, which I feel like is something I totally believe in.
And we've talked about this a lot on Optimist Daily. Mm-hmm. I think it is, not only do devices need to be better at it, but I think that what I love about the repair cafes is that it also gives, because I don't know, I guess I could take these 5 computers to the Geek Squad maybe, but then I'm having to continually invest, I love the idea of a cafe where I could take my old technology to say, hey, what do you want to do with this? And I know some of my laptops are Apple, and I know that I can turn those into Apple, and Apple has started aggressively trying to give consumers the opportunity to return their products.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, the kids' cell phones all recently got an upgrade, and they sent their cell phones back. And I think if I took these MacBooks into an Apple store, they would give me some sort of credit for them. It's just I don't really want to go to a store right now. So anyway, all right, enough about me and my drawers of things that I am trying to get rid of in my life right now. Clearly, I'm in a packing mindset. What else did we pack into the Optimist Daily today?
There's a couple of personal health stories, why it's even more essential to stay hydrated during the winter. Just gives you some tips on that. A story about a woman who created a safe haven for Black and trans women in New York City. It's a lovely story. An ecologist who spent 2 years studying a single hedge. And this is what he found.
And it wasn't because he was just quarantined and looking out his window.
No, but he actually, but this kind of intense, it's quite wild what he discovered there. There's a thought leader series from Agnes Kalibata on science and the future of farming and how it's going to work in Africa.
Ooh, I like this one. 5 signs it's time to take the day off from your workout routine.
Yeah.
I might need the opposite of that one. The Ideal City is an urban cookbook for planners to design better cities.
Yeah, I really like that one. I almost chose that to talk about today. But
kind of a creepy one here. These trainers are made from mycelium and dog hair. Okay, I get it. Dog hair is ubiquitous. I don't know why it would be any different than wool.
We've written about dog wool sweaters, haven't we?
We've talked about it. You know, I'm just imagining like somebody sitting at their home needle felting like a replica of my dog. I don't know. But they're called the Sneacher trainer. They're made by designed by a German designer, Emily Birdfind. The headline is a little terrifying, but I think it's pretty cool.
It's not terrifying. It's finding new use for something you would otherwise have to throw away. I've got tons of dog fur all over my floors, right?
Maybe that's what Cleo was singing about, is she really wants us to make her fur into my next pair of shoes.
The final story today is yet another story that underscores how important having a plant-based diet is, or going more towards plant-based diets would be towards protecting biodiversity and environmental stewardship and environmental health.
Well, speaking of health and diversity and good for you food, I think that's something that might be covered on this weekend's Optimist Daily View on the Optimist View. So if you are an emissary, look out for that. And if you're not an emissary yet, consider joining. And I'll just take us home, Kristy.
Go ahead. You do it.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive, solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us. Hey, everybody, join the Optimist Daily as an emissary or become a free subscriber if you prefer. Whatever you do, share good stories and help us keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye. Have a great weekend.